Comrades, I greet you with all protocols observed, as I used to say in my earlier videos. I am Admiral Andre, and we pick up where we left off yesterday, with the rain falling here on Isla Matanceros, and there of course it's clearing up now, so good timing, I have to say. I was thinking also yesterday after the recording there, my ideas often come to me after the recording of course. We still have to place the expedition center as one of our missions requires. Now let me just find this thing right at the top. Maybe somewhere next to the river here would actually be a nice location for that. I'm thinking then if you arrive here, because now obviously we're using the center also in the capacity of a kind of a VIP transport service, then if you arrive here over the hills and mountains and then you land right here by the river, it's a bit reminiscent of Jurassic Park, I think. Also, we have this waterfall in the back here, and that actually fits very well with the idea of the river here. And we can see they're almost on the same level now, so that lake back there is beyond my buildable area. But we can imagine there's a channel here where the water flows through and then of course forms the river, and that runs into the lake, so it all works out in the end. I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday, but I did build this little viewing area where people can stop and just have a look over the lake as they're approaching the main center of the park. But I think the first thing we should do is just to get a few more of the dinosaurs in this first enclosure. Even if no one is here to see them, we are here to see them. And I have to say, I love this blue and orange pattern. It's really stunning here. So how many of them do we have now? The Struthiomimuses. We have 6 of them. Maybe 6 will be enough for now. Let me just see, what's their max population? So that's 25, that will be no problem. So if we have even 7 of each, we'll still be under that, but I have to watch out for what the other limits are. So let's create some of the Gallimimuses. I still really don't know if it's just Gallimimus, a plural and a singular, or if it's Gallimimuses, but anyway. So forgive my fumbling there. Now let's see, what do we have here? We have the rainforest and the woodland on the Struthiomimus, so let's take jungle for a first step. Lifespan. Can we do the same thing we did yesterday, the cardio strength? We have more options with Gallimimus, so I think they'll be a bit more attractive in terms of the ratings here. Anything that's going to help with the lifespan, just to make it easier so we don't have to keep replacing them the whole time. So immune response and brain aging, so those are now 3 different things, so let's keep with that theme. Rapid metabolism seems like a good thing for this kind of dinosaur. And reaction speed, that's a nice mix. Of course the viability is not that high now, but it'll still be good enough. 85%, that means we're giving them a very good chance at life. So I'll incubate 3 of them and I will see you when they are done.
I can't thank you enough, which means I'm not gonna try.
That's of course the expedition center that I just connected there. But our 3 dinosaurs are ready. One of them failed unfortunately, so I had to replace that one. But let's release the first one. Just want to see what they all look like. Definitely a much greener texture there, but the shadows make it a bit difficult to see. Let's release the others and then immediately begin with the next group and give them something different. Coastal maybe. There's no real overarching theme here, I just want a bit of variety. And I think that's probably what we'll do with all of the different species. Just so that people can see all the different configurations, or not perhaps all of the different kinds, but a good variety at least. Now this is where I built the expedition center. It's not really very far away from the center of town, but it does keep with this theme of now being by the river, and you sort of fly in, I guess, from this direction or maybe from the waterfalls direction, and then land here by this very spectacular vista. Just want to make this road nice. I'm not sure if this is going to be the final configuration, but at any rate, it's on this different level, and then I wanted to join up somewhere along that road. But I don't want anything else here by this lake system. The other idea that I had was, instead of having two enclosures here by the river, we just have one massive one. Now that will of course depend on what species we want to put in there, because it won't help to put a species that only prefers a small total population, because then it's really an inefficient use of space. So we'll have to be very careful in considering our options there. But let's release the second group. They're almost done now, so let's have a look. Coastal pattern. Much better to see the sunlight there. Can't really tell what the colors are until they get out of that little forested area, but it's a nice way of introducing them into this enclosure. They can take their time to get through the forest and sort of just gently introduce themselves to the rest of the population there. Let's get the others out as well. So that takes us now up to 12 total. The other thing, I love this when they socialize in these different groups. The blue is definitely my favorite, I have to say. Not that the others are bad, but definitely it stands out the most for me. So, yes, I'm just thinking in terms of the feeder, if we should have maybe another one somewhere. But of course, the benefit of having a very centralized one is that the people will always be guaranteed to see several dinosaurs from the viewing gallery. But I think maybe we could have another one back there that's only visible to the gyrosphere patrons, I suppose we could say. But anyway, I think first of all let's get some, what's next? Archaeopteryx, I think. So let's go through the genome here. First one can probably be wetland here. I assume the jungle and all of that is going to be the same as on the other one, so we can check that out. Probably the same story here. First cardio strength, then immune response, then what was the other one? Another cardio strength, no, brain aging. Then we could take hyper efficient blood, and one more, that reaction speed. We're losing money now, but it's going to take a long time to get through 58 million, so I'm not concerned. And I still have a couple of million in my retirement fund, which I'll show you in a moment. So let's incubate 3 of these. What's their chance? 84%. I think that's pretty decent, although I have to say I do feel bad when they fail. I kind of imagine now, as the administrator of this park, though many people would think me overly sentimental, I would basically instruct our scientists there to bury the failed eggs and weak dinosaurs who couldn't survive. Because I don't like this whole idea of they fail and then you discard them as if they're trash. That's not my philosophy. I don't work like that. We have to respect life, even if it's one that we grow in a lab, especially one if it's grown in a lab, because we have responsibility for it. We brought them into the world. We have to show them the due respect. And yes, so that's just how I operate. Anyway, that's a tangent and a half. Now what's the next step here? Just thinking now, we're not going to have people yet, but it might not be a bad idea to start opening the park soon. So I think let me connect the viewing gallery and the gyro station, and then I'll get back to you once the Archaeopteryx are done. Well, they seem to be done. I'm still busy here. That didn't take too long, but let's release them. This is with the wetland pattern. Very good lifespan on all of them. Very happy about that. Seems like a kind of yellowish color. I know there's a guide on Steam somewhere where somebody was kind enough to actually have a collection of all the different possibilities of...
To feel secure. That's our job.
Yes, we can do that at some point. Anyway, of all the different colors with all the different species, and that's a very useful guide if you're interested. Just go to the Steam Community Hub and you'll find that. I also think I'm going to have to refer to another guide on Steam at some point soon, because there's somebody else, another intrepid soul, has collected a database basically of all the different species and how many population numbers they have and or desire and all of that sort of thing. So we'll be able to balance all the different species without having to basically go through trial and error to see how many they like. Anyway, let's release another group here. Just see, I don't think we're going to have any other species in here. So let's do the vivid pattern. That's a very nice one. This comes from somewhere, if you look at the research station, they actually tell you which species this comes from. Rana catusbayana, I don't know what that is. We can have a look. Let me just incubate these. It's a bird, I think. Let's see, research center, view research, where would this be? Genetic, I think. This is like the metabolisms, cosmetic, it should be somewhere here. Wetland vivid, doesn't actually say here. Oh well, I think it's on that Steam guide as well. But yes, so I'll just let them finish, and I want to make this look a lot nicer, so like a nice loop here, and then somewhere it will connect with the main road there again. So let me see what I can do. I don't like this little point there.
You never let your foot off the gas until that contract crossed the finish line.
I didn't even bother with that contract. Well, there we go. We have half a star now, and we did get some money for that. Let me just finish this path here. We'll see if this is a nice idea. Another one.
And that's a wrap.
Obviously I put the path there and that connected the viewing gallery. Yes, I don't know, I just don't want all these straight roads with angles, you know. We're not busy with city skyline and making a grid all over the place. Let's release the second batch of the Archaeopteryx vivid pattern. Again, it's going to be difficult to see, but that definitely has a bit more purple in it. So I think this will actually be a very nice mix. Now, how many do we have at the moment? There should be a counter somewhere. I'm literally going to have to count them all. But we know it's 666, so that's 18 different dinosaurs here. But are they all happy? So Struthiomimus we know can go up to 25. Gallimimus can go up to 23. And Archaeopteryx can go up to 21. So we could get one more of each. That would literally push it to the max. I think so, why not? So one last dinosaur of each category. Let's give them a different pattern. We'll say rainforest for this one. And what other ones? Gallimimus. Another rainforest. Doesn't really matter. Just at least it increases the chance of getting more variety. And a tundra. This will probably be the odd one out. One of them failed. That's unfortunate. You see, discard. You throw them away like they're garbage. Never. So that was Gallimimus. Leave it. No, change it. Jungle pattern. Maybe it'll be a bit of good luck for that one. So yes, more trees will have to be placed here, but I think this part shouldn't be too overgrown. People should be able to see the encampment there, or the enclosure, from the center of the village here. Not that it's a village yet, but we can see life is flourishing there. Let me just again flatten this. Just want this to be nice so people don't trip and sue me because the path was uneven. No, luckily not that that's a thing. Okay, are they all done? Nope, at least Ruthiomimus. And let me continue tweaking this. Right, so I think they're all done, almost. Release that one and we'll just wait for the Gallimimus to finish. 99, 100, so this is a nice and easy island, at least so far. Everyone is quick to incubate and we have a wonderful variety here. This will be a stunning thing for people to drive through and familiarize and acclimatize them to meeting dinosaurs, since I assume for most people coming to these islands this is a new thing. It should be anyway. 32,000, that's fine per minute, though it is a bit fast. But let me show you my retirement fund, although I'm not going to use this. As the expeditions continued, no, that's not the one I'm looking for, it's the fossil one. I accumulated all the goods that I wanted to keep for myself, so it's actually one of the buried treasures that I found later in the game. 500,000, and then all the others are palladiums for 400,000. So this is a couple of million. So I always thought that's my retirement fund. But of course we can use that if we have a need for that. Now that takes this enclosure to the max. So there's nothing more we do here. I love the color variations. It's really going to be, I think, a nice draw card for the visitors. I mean, just on its own, this has taken our rating to almost half, so it's 3 1/3 stars, or 2 1/3 stars. Good grief, I'm getting too ahead of myself. But, so that's a good sign anyway. Dinosaur visibility is also 99%, which is another good thing. Now, we can open the park at this point. Of course, they're still going to whine about not having food and all of that, but at least it'll start giving us money again. Not that we have a problem with that. I think I'll keep tweaking this a little bit first. Now, we have some shrubs and a few trees. I don't want more than that in this area. But the monorail is going to be the real pain now. That's something I haven't really accounted for yet. Now, for people to see the monorail from their hotels is not a bad thing necessarily, as we saw in the Jurassic World movie. You can have like a nice sweeping vista and still see the monorails zip past. That could be nice. But the station is going to have to be somewhere here. And I was thinking I might actually lower this area to the same level of the expedition center and then have people disembark there by the river. Now the only problem here is the helicopter is going to have a tough time missing or avoiding the monorail. So I'll have to keep that in mind. Well, let's see anyway what I can do. I'll just play around with this for a minute. Still want the monorail, but if it's really a pain, we'll not have it on this island. But let's see. I might as well take this one. Maybe it'll get us close to maximizing the entertainment division's opinion here, which will give me a Steam unlock, or at least an achievement unlock, so I'll take it. Now this is what I have so far. I'm still going to experiment a little bit with this. Also the fact that it changes elevation is not necessarily the best looking thing there. But we can do it. This at least shows that it's possible. Let me tweak it a bit more. I think it looks a bit better to put the monorail station on the same level as the innovation center. Of course there'll still be a slight inclination to the monorail track, but that is unavoidable. Then it also crosses the expedition center there. At least the helicopter will still be able to land here. They must just be careful of that monorail track. But I think that could work. It also gives people a nice view here as they approach the attractions to see the nice lake here and all of that. Let's just put some more trees here. So yes, we have to work very carefully with the amount of space that we have. It's not quite as unlimited as I might have hoped. Let's just make sure everything here is covered nicely by vegetation. Apart from this little gap here where I want people to look out over the lake. Not too close to the helipad there. Yes, and then I'll just cover this part as well. Not again too much. The view should still be quite nice from there. But at least, anyway, I'll tweak this part again. At least make it look a bit more natural. The big thing now is getting this enclosure in place and operational. And dealing with this elevation change here. Now, there's of course nothing against having some nice rolling hills here, but I'm going to have to experiment a bit here. So yes, I think the monorail is staying. It will just make it easier for people, and then of course from there they can continue their journey. Let's say somewhere there. Might move the other part of the attraction areas a bit further away. But I'm thinking that's not nicely lined up there. Well, I've got some tweaking to do, so I'll see you in a moment, comrades. Okay, checking in, comrades. I think this will be a very nice large enclosure here. I'm using the heavy steel fences, of course, again, not the electrified ones, although I might use the light ones here. Of course, we will imagine that the river would be flowing right through here with no problem, as it should. But yes, other than that, of course, I'm going to cover all of this up with trees and all that. I did flatten the terrain under this part of the fence, though, just to make it look a bit nicer, although there is a slight change there. Then we'll have to see what we're going to do here. Of course, this is not necessarily the final design here. This whole area could be another large enclosure, perhaps. Maybe it would be a good idea to try out these very large enclosures again. Let's just hope they don't deviate too far into the corners and then start rioting again. But this is, I think, still a relatively round shape here, so they should find their way back to the middle with hopefully no problems, but we'll see. Then, what do we want to do here? I'm not sure what kind of dinosaurs we'll have here yet, but I do want to use the towers or the viewing platforms. I think that'll be a bit more sensible here for people to be able to see them grazing along the river there. So again, we'll keep the trees lighter on this slope, but heavier towards the back. So let's see what I can do with that.
I've received an offer that will definitely help the science division, and can help you as well.
Well, I guess we'll take that one, although the security one is still a concern. Maybe not, although it's easy money. Let's take it. Well, I had to put another ground herbivore feeder right in the back here of the pen, or the enclosure that we already had, because I saw some of the, was it a Gallimimus, was starving already. Good grief, it's obviously because it's not enough for all of them. So I'll have to keep a close eye on this. Hopefully 2 will be enough. Also, the benefit is when you approach the park here through the main path, you immediately see this very interesting sight of the dinosaurs feeding. And of course, the gyro spheres will have a very good view of that. Now in the back here, things are still developing, but I did place down a Hammond Creation Lab. This one will not be shared because obviously we have only one large enclosure here now. And of course we also have another gate with a path going all around the outside here of the buildable area, all the way back to the utility part of the park. Now of course this whole area still has to be developed as well. I think I'll probably go with the same idea and have one large enclosure here. And that might actually be it, 3 enclosures. After all, with 8 species, we're not going to need that much space, or it's not about the space, about the enclosures. So yes, I think it's very tempting to add more species, but let's see what we can do with the original idea of having only 8. And then this area has been flattened, and I moved the building there. It was about there, so we know where to place the monorail station in the future, I think that will be okay. There's a lot of smoothing that still has to be done here. I think we might actually open the park now, to be honest, just to give people a chance to donate to our bank account here, but also a chance to see all of these magnificent creatures here. Now, let's just set the price on the gyro station, because this is a, don't want to say beginner island, but it is a beginner island. Oh, we're going to have serious problems if there's an epidemic in this enclosure. So please come and take care of that. I bet it's the common cold again. Yes, but that can spread really fast. Anyway, because this is a very accessible island, I want to make the prices quite low. So of the options, I will have this island always pick the cheapest one. So a value tour, even though I would say this is almost a deluxe tour to see so many dinosaurs, but anyway. And even though we don't have to make money really, we are always going to at least ensure that there's a little bit of profit. It still has to run as a business. So let's open the park now. I know they're going to complain endlessly anyway about food and drink, but let's have a look. So this is the grand sort of semi-reopening of Isla Matanceros. Open, and it will take a while for people to start arriving again, and I have to still power the monorail station, so they'll all be walking up here. We'll still have to see. I want to actually observe when I place the viewing galleries and things in this area, what the transportation rating is going to be. Hey, we have a new one. Bigger, louder, more teeth. I wonder what that achievement was for. Well, that's welcome. So just to see again the transport rating, at the moment it's 98%, so that's already saying it's not 100, so they'll definitely want a monorail station here, but if it's not too low, I'll get rid of it. At least on this island it hopefully won't be that necessary. So yes, do we have throngs of people yet, or a few brave souls? Not really. Well, they actually come out of the gyrosphere, but anyway, that's just how the simulation works. Slowly they'll start populating the island and all of the attractions and so on. Now let's just have a look. So there's 50 guests in here at the moment, and they can see 8 dinosaurs, but from the gyro station you can see 12, of course, along the whole path. And we have, does it say how many people we have? No. Let's take a drive in one of them. It's one of the unlocks, of course, that you get later in the game. So at least we can get a first-hand view of what's happening in this park. That feeder is not empty, but it doesn't always release. Sometimes it waits a little while. There go the rangers, so at least the common cold should be eradicated now. Actually, let's go back and follow the path and not hit anyone. Of course, it automatically overrides any attempt to hit the dinosaurs. Whoa. Okay, you're next, and then it's us. Okay, comrades, here we go. There's some nice specimens by the fence. Now, the drivable gyrosphere does go a little faster than the normal visitor ones. I guess we have VIP or at least executive access, so I might have to pass these guys by. Come on, R, let's get back in. Okay, so now we see this lovely forested area and of course the water area. Now this thing does want to slide down the hill. As you can see, I'm not doing anything right now, but I think for a normal kind of track this is okay. It's not too steep here. Also helps to keep traffic moving, I guess. There's another nice specimen. It also gives you a sense of how big these creatures are. Even though they are technically quite small, they're pretty much as big as a human or more, at least in the game. And we pass by the fence, and all the new visitors can see the exciting things that we're doing, so they also want to join. and then we're back. So it's not the biggest track, but still I think an interesting one. Let's see, although it's going to take a while now to get through this. We can of course drive the gyrospheres outside of the enclosures, so maybe we'll do that. It's a good way to get some nice ground level pictures. What? Sabotage? Okay, that...
Why would anyone want to sabotage entertainment?
Exactly. Of course it's the security people. Is the gap really that big? High risk, oh dear. Well, I guess it is. Now, what did they do exactly? Power, I think. Can just get the rangers onto that. Luckily we have... that's such a close distance there. But luckily we have so much extra power. We can actually see here. 48 is required, but now obviously we'll see in a moment. There we have 70 extras, so that's why it wasn't really a big problem. But I have to now at least get this reputation level up. So let's drive and take a picture that's hopefully worth at least $10,000. All our scientists here. Doubt we'll see anyone on these back roads, but maybe some security personnel. Nope, nobody. Okay, so open the gate. And I still have to remove some of these trees as well. It's a bit of a problem trying to drive through there. Now where would we get a nice photo? Right here. Maybe I'll stop right. Stop. F. Zoom in. And no dinosaurs found. They want us to be very close. But if I get too close, they'll get spooked. So I think like this maybe. That's a nice one. The vista in the background and all of the socializing happening.
I was 1 in a million.
Thank you, I know. That's nice of you to say. Collect reward. Watch the birdie.
We have the pictures we need.
Actually,
Done and contract closed.
let's take another one. Of course, there's no way for us to save the pictures after we take them, but I can press R here to view the photo, and then F12 to take a Steam screenshot. So that's basically the equivalent of getting our pictures, but if you don't do it while you're still in that mode, then you will not be able to see them. We might as well take this one as well. It's also 10,000 despite all the repetition penalties. And that's that. So I see this gyrosphere is being held up by the socializing happening there, but I guess it's a good thing for the visitors inside there because they see the whole thing up close. What's the finance situation? Look at this, $250,000 per minute, and that's without any of the other buildings. So I guess that's a good thing. It will help us to offset all of our expenses here. Now let me think about this whole business. I think I'm going to have to lay the fences for the next enclosure, and I'll probably put another creation lab facing the other way, but I'll make sure to close off the fences here because I want to force the jeeps to follow the back roads and not just cut through the visitor areas to take the shortest route. So yes, maybe I'll finish this one first. It's definitely going to be Diplodocus in here. I'm going to have to look up how many other dinosaurs they can coexist with, and then I'll have a think based on that list that we had in the first episode to get a bit of variety. Maybe one Triceratops and, or you know, one of the kinds of Triceratops, and maybe another armored one. We'll see, we'll see. Let me just exit out quickly and have a look at that list and also at the different stats so I can make a good deal here for us. Well, it seems Diplodocus does have a very large population, maximum 24. Now, I think if we go off of that, then that will give us a very good guideline. Maybe Corythosaurus, that one also has a very high population limit. And maybe one more in here, then we'll have two of the other kinds in another pen. I think that'll be all. We could have even made this one enormous single enclosure. Now that I'm thinking of that, that's not a bad idea actually. That is not a bad idea actually. One giant enclosure here with a long gyrosphere track. That is very possible. I think so, because I'll specifically pick those dinosaurs on this map that allow a large population. Otherwise it won't make sense if we can only have 8, for example. So yes, I think that will be a very good idea. So there won't be a secondary town, and for that reason there will also not be a need for a monorail track here. Yes, now we're getting somewhere. I do like the monorail, but there's not enough space to do it justice here. That looks a lot better. Anyway, let me work on this, comrades. I'll just basically build a very large enclosure here. That's how it should be. One of our new viewing towers is almost complete. I think this was the best idea ever. A very big enclosure that's going to give people a complete sort of sense of a natural habitat. Of course, Henry Wu said there's nothing natural in Jurassic Park, but nevertheless, we'll have 2 of these.
I want to take this contract.
No, I don't want to take it, otherwise the security will start sabotaging me again. The risk is low at the moment. So we'll have these 2 viewing towers. That will give us a view of this part of the river as well as the ground herbivore feeder there. Then this one will give us an overview of the tall herbivore feeder, so that's at least a glimpse of that. There's another tall herbivore feeder right in the back there and a normal one right there. So the only real way for you to see the dinosaurs is to take the gyrosphere. So of course I'm going to put this one's price up. I think if we're real, this is a deluxe tour. Come on, this is going to be a deluxe one. I might put it on standard. I don't know. No, let's leave it for deluxe, on deluxe for the moment. Anyway, we still have to decide what to do here and what to do to get power to this creation lab. That's going to have to be now a series of power lines all the way around here, unfortunately. The trees do hide them, I think, to some extent. So let me see what I can do about that. But I like having this isolated creation lab. Again, we could have put the gate up here somewhere, but this forces the jeeps to take a nice long route, and of course it gives us an excuse to drive them for a while. Otherwise, I think this is shaping up to be a really nice park. I mean, it has 2 enclosures, but this one is really the star of the show. I still want to make some small adjustments, like smoothing this, for example, just giving it a nicer curve there, things like that, small details. But yes, let me get power here and then we'll decide what to begin incubating. Yes, this is going to be awesome. I like this. Yes, unfortunately it's impossible to get around the power lines. It's obviously quite visible right there, but if we look at the size of the actual enclosure, we can scarcely make it out there in the distance, so I don't think that's a problem. It's just really there because it's sticking out above the trees, but the rest of it is quite hidden. At any rate, yes, again, there's no other way to get around that. It's part of the challenge, I guess. You have to juggle things a little bit. But now, let's have a look at the creation lab. It's online, but we still... What's the power problem? Oh, it's this area. We also have to have a substation here. And I might have to redesign these little paths because we only have this area for the shops now. But that's okay. My dream of centralizing everything has come true, it seems. We might actually place a few things here. I think let's focus on getting the dinosaurs first. So obvious choice first is again the success rate. Again, the success rate, and because we're dealing with slightly larger dinosaurs or even of the large category, so I think in that sense the incubation speed is probably better than another slot. So that leaves us only 2 slots, but Diplodocus is a definite must. We're going to get them. I think we can get up to 8, so that would be a nice thing actually. Now that might mean more feeders, but that's also alright. Let's just have a look. Which pattern would look nice here? Coastal, steppe, tundra, maybe the steppe. We'll see, we'll mix it up again. Now lifespan, immune response, where's the cardio? They definitely need cardio strength with such large bodies. Immune response, yes, I'll take that one. No, we have to mix it up. Strong muscle fibers, that's a good one for them again. Where's brain aging? It's not part of these ones. Okay. High proficient blood. We don't have to max it out, but I think I probably will. There's brain aging. And one more. Reaction speed is not so important for them. They're obviously quite slow. But a rapid metabolism is probably not a bad idea. So I think that will round it off. It's only now a 63% viability. That's not so great. No, I think we're going to have to be realistic here. Let's increase the success rate here. That'll bring it up to the 90s. So that's fine. It is 2.3 million each. But yeah, so this is going to take a while, but I'll see you in a moment, comrades. You know, while they're busy incubating, I think we could even drive this track just to see what it's like. I did put a fast food restaurant right here. Not sure it's a good idea. Nobody seems to be heading this way. A gift shop right here, which is also not very successful, and a fast food restaurant here that does seem to be doing better. Again here, I think the theme for all of these islands will be quality, not quantity. Even though, of course, by quality I don't mean everything has to be a 5-star restaurant. It's just we're not cramming as many people and dinosaurs here as possible. I just want people to have a good time, and you can see our rating is already climbing. So let's drive this track. This should be really interesting. Drive gyrosphere, let's have a look. So here, of course, we'll have a nice flat area that will give us a good view of this valley. Yeah, somebody's pointing that way. Let's just stop here and have a look. Now that is a successful enclosure, I think, with a nice waterfall in the background. You see, I think that's also where, again, I think I could have made some improvements about how I played the game before, and I know they're ready to release now. Maybe we'll leave. Is instead of playing it like a zoo, you know, cramming in.
I knew you could do this.
Okay, now they're going to start sabotaging. No, luckily not. Anyway, instead of cramming in as many dinosaurs as possible in as small a space as possible, making a real large, you know, again I go back to the whole idea of Jurassic Park. These large enclosures, and of course the one in the Jurassic World movie again where the gyrospheres were. This is the kind of thing people, I think, would like to see, not these little zoo cages. Anyway, let's release our first 2 customers here. That's actually not a bad view. I was thinking we might not see anything because of the trees here. Very gentle giants. I love these sauropods. I think they'll be very happy here. Obviously there's so much space. Let's see, could we get the sunlight? Just a little bit. We could have even had a brachiosaur here or 2. But I think I'll keep that for Isla Sorna perhaps. So another one, release, and as soon as those 2 are done, I think we need to confirm the population first. 8, yes, so I think we'll max that out perhaps. Well, we can go up to 24, but we need to put 5 species in here to make the full 8, so maybe 4 to start off with. So for that, and it's a good thing no one failed there, but that's again the benefit of placing the success rate number 1. Arid, let's do 1 arid and 1 coastal, so incubate that one, and of course the other one is still releasing. There's the tail going. Go on, go on. It's interesting, without these success rates, we only have 3% chance. It shows you how heavily we modify them. Okay, last one is going to be coastal for now. And then, let's just have a look. We're almost up to 5 stars, hey? And we only have the smalls and the diplodocus. That's it. It shows you quality over quantity. Now let's just see what people are saying here. The dinosaurs are 4.5 and the facility is 5. They don't want anything more. Good grief, I don't have to put a million shops in or anything like that. Of course, the fun thing is coming from the gyrospheres. Shopping could be a bit better, but it's a 5-star resort, and with a few more dinosaurs we will definitely have 5 stars again for the variety and attractiveness and all of that. So it shows you the idea of 8 species per island can work. I was a bit worried about that, but it seems I worried for nothing, which is usually the case. Yes, let's drive this track now. Let's just have a look. There's another waterfall in the distance there. I've seen a lot of people ask for larger islands or larger playable areas. I think that would be nice, but I think we could overcome that by having more islands, maybe random generated ones, or I don't know, just different places we can build. I can guarantee you there will be something like that, because there will definitely be DLC for this game. Straying from the path here, but just look at that. Almost looks endless. I know we can see a little bit of the power lines, but really if you weren't looking for that, you're not going to see it very easily. And this part again, the fence is quite well hidden on the other side of the river. It's a very natural enclosure. I try to smooth the path as much as possible, so people won't be dealing with weird, sudden changes in elevation. Now, of course, here we'll be going down a little. Excuse me. And we're drifting. Okay, back onto the path. Where are they? It's going to be tough to see them sometimes, but that's why you have to get into the gyrosphere to get a full experience here. There they are. So definitely they won't be visible from the towers unless they go to the feeder there, but that's fine, they don't have to be. Let's just continue this journey here. I love this game, I have to say. There's been comments that people say, and specifically this is now Cool 18 because I watched his series on Jurassic World, that he didn't know about the replayability of this game, or the replay value, and I think it's very high, just because again here we show, even if you have already completed everything and you've seen all there is to see, by going back and redesigning the islands you can get a totally different experience. It's gonna rain. That's alright, speaking of different experiences. So yes, this is probably the ugliest part of this enclosure, because we see both the fences and the power lines so obviously, but by this point it's almost done with the tour. And voila, of course we can't go in there, so I'll just exit out. Now I still would like to put a shelter here somewhere. I think that will be quite necessary. Again, there's no real threats here, but just because this will cover basically everybody, so I think it might even go here, right in this area, close to the hotel, but I'll try and put some shrubs here just to make it look a bit nicer. Let's see. And of course there's not going to be a noise generator like a club or something, or a bar, so that I will never put next to a hotel, because when you're staying at a place you want to enjoy peace and quiet. At least that's how I am. Okay, that does look a little bit better. And of course they'll be able to see over the shelter. It's more of an underground sort of thing. And they'll be thankful for it if there's ever a tornado here, which there shouldn't be. Okay, what's the gyro station doing here? It's still on the deluxe tour, so only 175 people are taking it. I think we'll have to drop the price. Again, I'm like Hammond in the sense that I want this to not just be for the super rich. So let's take it down to a value tour. That's a bargain if ever there was one. Let's see if we get more than 46 people. Come on, I'm basically giving this to you for free. I guess it's because there's not too much happening in this enclosure yet, but there will be soon. No, I don't want to take the hit to security, so I'm not gonna do that. We could of course also keep doing expeditions, but in case there's DLC that add more dinosaurs to existing dig sites, I don't want to max them out unless I have to. So, next release. They always look so, you know, what's the word that I'm looking for? Tenuous, or like, you know, they're very cautious, very afraid almost of stepping out of this pen that they're in. And that's of course the pen that we saw in Jurassic World with the Indominus Rex in it. Small details. And I'll also release you, so that's 4 now. They'll probably cluster around this area where the feeder is. Might have to move it to somewhere in the middle. I could actually put another feeder right here, sort of in this cove of trees. That'll be a flat feeder, I think. Not sure if dinosaurs will actually use different ones or they'll just stick to one, but at least they still have to walk towards the water. But that probably means they'll all end up with that feeder. But now, who's next? Let's have a look at this. So that's now 4 species, so we're halfway there. Now, I don't want any, like, famous dinosaurs or very exotic ones here. So no Pentaceratops, no Triceratops, no Stegosaurus.
It's a balancing act, I get it, we all do. My point
Another
is,
whining about the small enclosure.
And this small enclosure ain't cutting it.
Brother, can you see this is not a small enclosure? It's because, again, it triggers because this looks almost like an enclosure, but I actually need to remove this fence. Maybe it's a valid criticism to some extent. Okay, let's see. What's the next one? On some of the later islands, I might even mix some of the carnivores and herbivores. What about a Chunkinosaurus? Actually, I have to look up the sociability. Let me have a think about this. Okay, let me just stop here. Feeders are running out. Definitely gonna need more ranger teams, so please come by these ones. Let me just improve their lists here. So first, I think again ranger speed or reloads. Here it is. Then accuracy, then all of the rest will be scheduling, just because it's no point if they have to drive back after every 2 things that they do. So, are they taking my part? They have to. Yes, they are. That's a good thing. So, add please. Might as well take all of them into consideration while we're there. But yes, so the Tintosaurus is another one that's in the 20s, so I think it's going to be that one next. So let's get a few of them going here. Have I made them, incubated them before? I think so. T. Now, where is the T? Tintosaurus. There it is, right at the end. So yes, I have done this one before. Let's just have a look at the patterns and all of that. It can also go vivid, so let's take a vivid for some of them. I think we're going to do the same thing that we did before. No, let's take a robust digestion. Immune response, of course. Cardio strength. Bone density? No, I want something with lifespan. Rapid metabolism, and then... Actually, you would think slow metabolism is associated with long lifespan, but anyway. Strong muscle fibers? I think so. Why not? That gives it a very high resilience and long lifespan. So, that's it. This is our next one. Incubate. What do you know? It's a few seconds after I incubated the Dinosaurs, but we have 5 stars. Easy as that. There we go. 5 and 5, comrades. Great welfare, great variety, all of that. Better than I could have hoped, so that's a very good thing. No need to crowd shops around here either. We might still put a weather defense station somewhere here. I'm not sure. I'll think a bit about that. But anyway, while the Dinosaurs are busy with their incubation, I think I'm going to end off this episode. We're almost done here, honestly. That was a bit faster than I thought, so that's a good thing. So next time we will wrap it up by introducing all the others. I'll have a bit of a think about which other ones we want here. So that's now 5 species. We need 3 more. And I still have to round off this. We're not going to need another power plant as it turned out. Let's just have a look. We still have 29 available. No, but that's even without upgrades. So I'll probably pave this area or put some trees there. I'm not sure yet. But really, that's pretty much it. So no monorail, which is still a good thing. And I did put a smaller fence here just to make it theoretically easier for the water to pass through. That's that, comrades. See you next time. Let me know what you think about this park. Is this a place you would like to visit? Well, of course you don't know all of the varieties yet, but we will next time. So, see you then, comrades. Have a fantastic day.